Sorry. All right, let's get into this. Okay, transhumanism. This is kind of a. I'm gonna go beyond the benefits of prosthetics for amputees and stuff like that. I'm going like where man meets machine, like cyborg kind of places. And how far off are we from that? Being microchipped uh, to the point where we can just use our finger to pay for things or identify things. Well, actually, we're already there. In some countries, in Europe, there's I think Denmark is one of them, where you can actually get implants, RDIF chips or RDF chips or whatever you call them, in your fingertips, and you go into certain places you just swipe. So that in itself, you could say is the humble beginnings of the transhumanism. So what about eye transplants, stuff like that? Now, yeah, you can get those type of things where you can like pig livers and stuff like that into your body and stuff like that, and it has been done. Uh, but we're also now looking at a guy in Russia who had the first like head transplant. We also know about people who get face transplants. Now we're going above and beyond that for this kind of transhumanism that we're going to be talking about. Is what we see now leading to people who decide one day say, I don't want my arm. I want a bionic arm. I want to be the $6 million man. Uh, but all I got is like $60. What can you get me? Out of the back of a trunk somewhere. Yeah, well, we'll make you an arm. It's got dare I imagine. But anyway, the thing is that at some point, when does it become socially acceptable for people to, modify their bodies in such ways to get that upper edge on mechanical upper edge on whatever area they figure is weak. And if we look at anything that technology provides human beings is to overcome the environments that we go into. For example, space. Humans just can't exist in space without technology. We need suits. We need this. Maybe someday it'll be okay. Well, we can put this type of uh, chemical in your blood, and you can actually go into space without your blood boiling. You won't need a suit anymore, but it's like a type of antifreeze, and it might turn your skin green or something like that. Who knows? Uh, would that be considered transhumanism? Probably yes and no, because there's a couple of ways you look at it. You can look at it from a robotic side and computer side, and you can also look at it from a mutation side. Now, to me, I think this is something that will happen at some point where people will do this. Why? Because we have people that kind of do not transhumanism, but tattoos, scarification, and max piercings. Like they take it to the extreme, earlobes, stuff like that. So for somebody that would look at that and say, okay, well that's just art. Yeah, but somebody could look at the transhumanism as a form of art as well, and then next thing you know, somebody's got like 6 arms and or whatever, or a floating torso or something, or a floating head. I just want to be a floating head. I don't want to be anything else in my life, just a floating head. I don't know, care to dream, right? Um, so at some point, I think, yeah, people will probably say it'll probably be a subculture of some point. I'm sure religious people will never go for that because of the mark of the beast and all that type of thing. So in their belief system, I'm not saying I'm endorsing that. I'm not saying I'm rejecting it. I'm just saying that obviously people that are religious will probably reject it. It's a different belief system, but the people that may resort to transhumanism, maybe it might be something that is a necessity that we actually have to do it. Who knows? We don't know. What if our star goes from what it is now, from a white star to a red star? Suddenly we may have to have some sort of a new type of skin or whatever. We don't know. Uh, the other thing too is you have to understand, like, it's more of a moral issue than a actual science issue that we can graft things to people. What comes to mind is that little mouse with the ear grafted to his back. If they could do that to a mouse, well, why can't they give you like a third arm, which might be actually handy. Um, Stuff like that. Myself, I would never want to do that, but you never know. Somebody who wants to live for an extremely long time may not be able to do it on the organs they have. At some point, maybe you might need an overhaul, so to speak, and that could lead to basically robotic insides. All prosthetic innards. Made out of titanium and last thousands of years. Who knows? Microchips in the brain, that type of thing. That type of stuff They actually already have that kind of stuff, and it's not the conspiracy stuff. This is things they've tested. The studies on the brain is probably the last big enigma in medical science is really going to be understanding the brain because it's so complex. But every time they discover one thing, um, they could adapt it to something else. It seems like artificial intelligence. The more they map the brain, the stronger they can make the AI. Why? Because it's like, well, we know that's how it works in our brain. Maybe we can make it work. But yeah, to actually develop a conscious human brain would be, I don't think, out of the realm of impossibility in the next, say, 250 years. Uh, but morally, that's the thing. If morals weren't an issue, guaranteed people would probably have all kinds of, uh, you know, extended things. Athletes would probably have, bionic legs, that type of thing, or who knows. And other kind of like cyborg versus transhuman. It's maybe some people want to be have their DNA merged with DNA of say reptiles or something. Who knows? Maybe they want to have their DNA with linked with like bats or who knows anything. A wolf. Who cares? A dog. Maybe they want to be part dog or part slug. Who knows what they might want to genetically modify themselves to be. I mean, we can modify fruit, we can modify vegetables, we can modify trees. We can actually take apple trees and pear trees and actually take one tree and actually graft different branches to that. Now you say that's a long way from the human body. It is and it isn't. It is because, yeah, it's a simpler organism, but the idea that it can be done in one organism is just figuring out how do you do it in the next. So how far are we into this transhumanism stuff? I don't know. I mean, think about it. Eyeball transplant, that type of thing. Maybe you want actual eagle eyes. Maybe you want that. Uh, that could be a thing in the future. Again, some countries that have lax laws on these type of issues, that's where you usually see this stuff. The big one is the cloning. That's where I think most of the transhumanism will probably take place is through cloning and mixing DNAs there, making hybrids, so to speak, or X-Men. So that would be kind of a maybe not quite as a Hollywood version of X-Men, but some of it probably like exoskeletons like Wolverine or something like that. Maybe that might be a long way away, but you never know. I mean, it's really not. I mean, look at how many people walk around with prosthetic knees and stuff like that. So it's more of a cost prohibitive thing. I mean, to replace an entire skeleton on a person without killing them, that would be once they figure out how to do that, or solidify your bone into some form of liquid metal without removing a single thing. Who knows? Something like that could happen. Look, they can remove kidney stones without even cutting you open now. I mean, they just use like a laser, basically. Uh, years ago it used to be, the scalpel and knife is probably, giving ways to lasers and stuff like that. So I think the whole transhumanism thing is an interesting conversation. It's going to come up in the future. It will definitely be a scary thing for those who adopt it and those who don't, because, well, for those who don't adopt it, it will be very terrifying because think of the person who gets the right advantage over the other person, right? It's always that kind of how do you compete with that? You've got the guy that's smarter, faster, stronger, and you know, basically can't die, so to speak. Uh, who knows? Who knows what it'll be capable of, and to a point, how much of the transhuman, how much is the man, how much is the machine, and what's really in control, the man or the machine, right? So kind of an interesting topic. I figured I'll keep this one a short one, but I wanted to do something on the transhumanism issue. Would you go for it? Would you not go for it? To me, I'm happy in my own skin. I'm happy with my mortality, and it's not even from a religious point of view for me. It's just I age gracefully. I'm not that vain of a person. I'm okay with that. But for some people, would you go for it? Would you not go for it? And that's and what would you go for? I guess would be the what would you do if you were gonna get into the transhuman part exactly, like is Google Glass as far as you would want to go, but not actually have it attached to you. Again, there's a difference between using wearing technology and actually integrating it with your skin, into your actual So yeah, so I guess I'll leave it at that. So what do you guys think of the idea? And uh, yeah, I'll let you guys discuss it amongst yourselves. So if you like this kind of content, please consider making a donation to the channel. Thank you very much to everybody who has. Rate, subscribe, share, comment, like. Definitely take advantage of the comments. That's what they're there for. Be true to yourself. Be true to others. And always, always, do the right thing. Have yourselves a great day. G'day, hi, and welcome. Sorry. All right, let's get into this. Okay, transhumanism. This is kind of a. I'm going to go beyond the benefits of prosthetics for amputees and stuff like that. I'm going like where man meets machine, like cyborg kind of places. And how far off are we from that? Being microchipped uh, to the point where we can just use our finger to pay for things or identify things. Well, actually, we're already there. In some countries, in Europe, there's I think Denmark is one of them, where you can actually get implants, RDIF chips or RDF chips or whatever you call them, in your fingertips, and you go into certain places, you just swipe. So that in itself, you could say is the humble beginnings of the transhumanism. So what about eye transplants, stuff like that? Now, yeah, you can get those type of things where you can like pig livers and stuff like that into your body and stuff like that, and it has been done. Uh, but we're also now looking at a guy in Russia who had the first like head transplant. We also know about people who get face transplants. Now we're going above and beyond that for this kind of transhumanism that we're going to be talking about. Is what we see now leading to people who decide one day to say, I don't want my arm. I want a bionic arm. I want to be the $6 million man.